We're going to be heading out to the airport, and that's where we find 11 Alive's Doug Richards. And Chris has already talked about the point. He showed some of the graphics there. Not a lot of delays, not a lot of cancellations there, but we are seeing some folks, as you pointed out, Doug, flying in maybe from the West Coast, where it's nice and sunny, and avoiding the big winter storm.
That's what we're seeing certainly from behind us. In fact, beyond the West Coast, there's a flight from Honolulu that landed a few minutes ago, and the folks at baggage carousel number 1 are picking up their bags from that trip. One of the passengers told me that the plane departed 7 hours late, and that by the time the plane took off, the plane was half empty because the other folks who had scheduled travel on that particular plane found alternative arrangements, apparently. So there are still numerous delays here at the airport. As you look at the board that shows the departures, there are about more than half of the flights listed are in red, which indicate that the flights here, those listed in red, are canceled at the moment, and so the passengers who were on those flights are obviously having to adapt, as these folks from who flew in from Honolulu have had to do. Interestingly, though, we've also run into a number of people who said that their flights came in this morning or started this morning from destinations west of here, landed in Atlanta on time, uneventful, and said that the travel was pretty great for them. They're, of course, coming out of areas where there is not inclement weather, apparently, and so their travel was good. In fact, the worst part of it, they said, was probably going to be driving home out of the airport. But other than that, so it's a mixed bag here at the airport, obviously. Some folks are experiencing delays of 1/3 of a day or less. Others taking off on time, landing here in Atlanta on time, and doing okay, given the conditions. Live at the airport, Doug Richards, 11 Alive News.
All right, Doug. And I guess it depends upon where you're going.
For sure. And that's a different visual, Doug, because, you would think that folks might not be able to get into the airport, because earlier when you were showing us the visual of the ticket lines and all that, it was a ghost land, and we're seeing a whole lot of action, or at least action picking up there at baggage claim.
Well, I mean, certainly most of the baggage claim carousels are empty. I guess it all depends on your perspective here. Our perspective here is that we have bursts of energy, bursts of movement, and then, long periods of waiting around.
Hurry up and wait. Yeah, that's
the news business for you, too, right?
Hey, that's what we do here. All right, Doug, thanks a lot. And, the one thing, because Chris had talked about this, is there's cancellations. Generally there's cancellations, but it depends upon what airline that you're going on. You got to make sure you check that.
A lot of different factors there. And then, you think about the pilots and the crew members timing in and out over waiting periods. So, again, always just pack your patience, cross your fingers, say a little prayer, and contact your carrier before you make the trip out to Hartsfield-Jackson.